Hello, if anyone's watching, this is our first podcast of the Anything Club, the podcast where we talk about anything and everything. So let me introduce myself. My name is Annabel.
And I'm Hayley.
And yeah, this is the first episode. So we're going to be talking about a topic that I think a lot of people will be able to relate to. What do you think, Hayley? Do you think a lot of people relate to this?
Yeah, I think recently it's been a subject that has been on the forefront of my mind.
And mine.
And yours. And I think it's especially a topic that a lot of people in their 20s, not exclusively, but a lot of people in their 20s do question.
A quarter-life crisis, if you will.
Yeah. So, the topic is feeling lost in life. Now, just quickly, Annabelle, what when I say feeling lost in life, or, you know, if this topic is brought up, what is feeling lost in life to you? Like, what does that mean?
To me, and how I felt yesterday in particular, feeling lost is just sort of feeling like, as brutal as it sounds, like you haven't achieved anything in your life. And you're just feeling really down on yourself. You feel like you don't have... Well, how I was feeling yesterday is, I feel like when it comes down to it, I don't really have anything that I really love doing. Like, I don't have any interest that I just want to do all the time. And I feel like I thought yesterday I was feeling like everyone should have that thing that they love doing. Some people love collecting things. Some people love music. And I love music, but there's nothing in the world, I don't think, that I could do all day long and be quite happy.
So I think what you're saying is feeling lost is threefold. It's a lack of a sense of achievement, it's a lack of a sense of direction, and it's a lack of a sense of fulfillment and joy.
Yeah, I would say so. And it can be, you could feel this sense of lostness. You could feel it in your career progression. You could feel like you haven't achieved enough at work. You could feel it in your personal life because you could have all your friends around you getting married and having kids and whatnot, and you could be nowhere near any of that. Buying a house, like, we're nowhere near any of that. So I think feeling lost can come in loads of different shapes and sizes. Yeah. And it really depends on you and how you feel that loss.
Yeah. I think it, again, it's a mixture of an internal pressure, and that's something that I struggle with. Like, not thinking that you've done enough compared to what you think you should have done and achieved. But also, it's comparison. Comparison is the killer of joy. And as soon as, you know, social media is awful these days in that aspect. As soon as you look around and you compare yourself to all your school friends or anyone on social media, you will automatically feel absolutely rubbish about yourself.
Very, very quickly. Yeah. You'll feel very, very quickly bad. And it's not just that, like, I'm just using examples from our life, getting personal here.
Episode 1, personal deep dive.
Getting real. So we obviously, well, you have 2 YouTube channels. I do help you with that. So it's kind of like we see it as our project kind of thing. And it is hard to see, you know, when you're going through, I know it's not all about numbers and it's not all about the views, it's about enjoying it, and we do really enjoy it. But it is hard to see other people growing so quick and getting so many views and so much traction. And then you put out a video and it gets, you know, it performs the worst out of all your videos. So you think, it's hard not to get really down on yourself and compare yourself to other people, even though we're quite aware, and we say this to each other all the time, everyone's on their own path. And we're on our path, and we don't need to compare ourselves to anyone. And some days that's easier to tell yourself than others, isn't it?
Yeah, it's this whole what's the phrase? Hedonic Treadmill? I think that's the Hedonic Treadmill. The whole idea that you sort of, you want something in life, and then once you achieve it, the goalposts move and suddenly you want more. And that's what it has been, just using YouTube as an example. When we first started posting on Hayley's Hacks, we were gaining a subscriber every other day, and that was insane. We would run around and cheer and scream
every single time we get a subscriber. It was the best thing. It would be
amazing. And then suddenly that became the norm, and that now wouldn't be what we would see as achievement and success. and then it obviously moved to getting maybe, I don't know, 5 a day, and then that was amazing, and 1 a day was not very good, and it just keeps moving. The goalpost is moving, and now the channel's on over 2,000 subscribers, yet we don't feel like we've achieved anything. So what I'm saying is that I don't think that will ever go away, this sense of I think what you've got to do is, well, what I'm trying to remind myself is actually look where you've come, like look what you've come from.
And you know, thinking about that, this is kind of unrelated, but we should do a podcast episode talking about the journey from the beginning to now with YouTube.
Yeah, it's a hard one.
Because it's a topic that I think, sorry if I'm going off track, I'll be a second. A lot of people will be wanting to start a YouTube channel, and whilst there's so many channels and podcasts out there talking about that, I don't know why, but I feel some people keep back how hard it can be.
Well, people want to appear as though it's been easy for them because that makes them look better, I suppose. Maybe that's why.
I just think sharing the reality of it is important. And by no means should it ever put you off, but it's important to know because it can be dreadfully slow and it can be really demotivating sometimes. Unless you get really lucky,
it, doesn't it?
And you've got to get lucky. If you get a video that does really well, then amazing. But not everyone gets that, so it's important to share that. So maybe we'll do a podcast episode on that.
Yeah, that'd be interesting
at some point.
Anyway, coming back to this feeling of being lost. I think what it is that when you are 15, 16, you view. So just for clarity, I'm 25, going to be 26 in February, and Annabelle's 25, going to be 26 in the summer. So we're both mid-20s. And when I look back to being 15 or 16, just finishing my GCSEs, going into A-levels, whatever it may have been, 25, even 20, seemed like quite old. And like you look at a 25-year-old, you don't know much about them, but you think they've got their life together, this whole life together. And I would look at 25-year-old Hayley and think, well, she's going to be in a long-term relationship. She's probably going to have her own house. She's going to be in a career that she loves and that she's, advancing in. She's probably going to have a couple of hobbies that she absolutely loves doing. All these things. And actually, I've achieved some of them. But in reality, not many people have got all of them things. It just doesn't happen like that. And they even say no one in life knows what they're doing. You could ask a 70-year-old, do you know what you're doing in life? No.
Well, you've had people comment on videos that you've sort of spoken about this sort of thing briefly on Hayley's Hacks. You've asked a question, do you have any advice to younger people if you're older and you're watching this? And I remember a few comments of older people in their 60s or whatever saying, I'm 65, I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't feel like I'm an adult. And I've posted videos on my TikTok before asking people, like, does anyone else not have a clue what they're doing? Things like that. And I've had older people commenting saying, I don't feel like I'm worthy of being an adult and I'm 60. It's that kind of thing. Like, no one knows what they're doing. And you kind of need to tell yourself that when you get a bit down because you feel like you're really behind. And you feel like you've not achieved anything. But if you think and you list everything that you've actually achieved in your life, it's impressive.
And also, I think that it's easy to look at other people and to make what they've got your goals. So, for example, if the majority of your friends are married, suddenly you think that you need to be married at some point. If all of your friends or some of your friends or some people on social media seem really fulfilled in their work life, or they are being promoted or whatever it may be, that suddenly becomes a goal for you. Kids, buying a house. Actually, if you removed everybody else around you, would they be authentic goals for you? Do you actually want them things? Or
do you like the idea of what they've got, but you don't actually necessarily need those things?
Yeah. Like, if you stripped everything back, and this is something that probably, I haven't done, and I don't think it would be easy by any means. If you stripped everything back, what would you actually want in life? Probably not that much.
Yeah, I think most people would say when it comes down to it, they want their health, their family's health, a meaningful connection or connections with
Somewhere
people.
to call home.
Some people's, goal in life is to have children. That's fine. Some people's goal in life is to get married. That's fine too. But some people don't want that. And you don't want your desires in your life to take a back seat just because you think you should be doing what somebody else has dreamed of doing, like getting married. If you've got no interest in that, then don't do it.
I never wanted to get married growing up. I think this is because there were a few close people to my family, like family friends, if you will, that didn't get married and are still not married. And up until that point, I didn't know that that was an option. I thought that marriage was just the normal thing that you do. But when I saw another path and these people weren't getting married and they were still happy together, I suddenly viewed marriage as maybe something you didn't need to do, and you could put the money elsewhere and maybe go travelling with the money. And that sort of became my new normal for a long time. I would now be open to getting married, but perhaps in a non-traditional way to most people, and a cheaper way to most people, because I wouldn't want to spend all that money on a wedding.
No, I'm the same. I feel like spending all that money, if you've got it in your head that you want this, I don't know why we're going on a tangent of weddings here. If you've got it in your head that you want this massive wedding with all your family and friends, and it is going to cost a lot, because they do, and you think that's worth spending all those tens of thousands of pounds that you've saved on that, then fine. But I think you don't need to feel the pressure to do that. You don't need to feel the pressure to do anything. If you would rather spend it on travelling, or you'd rather put a deposit down on a house, or you'd rather save it, invest it.
Or you would just like to go and buy some good cheese.
I mean, yeah.
Imagine how much cheese you can get for the price of a wedding.
Love a bit of good Gouda. Gouda? I'm not sure.
Know.
Anyway,
really like
that's not
cheese.
relevant. That is not relevant. But yeah, basically, when it comes down to it, you don't need to follow tradition. And you don't need to follow, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, the path that everyone normally follows.
It's the normal, traditional path, isn't it, really, in life?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about, like, feeling lost. Going back to what this topic is about, feeling lost in life. What have you been feeling lost with? What's been going on that's made you want to sit and do this topic?
So
you mentioned yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, it depends how candid you want me to be here, because
you can just talk briefly.
So I think with me, it's feeling like I've not achieved enough. It's not a personal thing. Like, it's not personal. I'm very happy with my relationships and things like that. I'm not worried about that. I think for me, it's career. It's career progression, and I've got a massive desire to have passive incomes, because I know how important that can be to your future, and to being able to retire at a decent age, whereby you can enjoy your life before you're too old.
Yeah, it's gaining passive income to buy your time, isn't it?
Exactly, and time is so important, and we've obviously had the last 6-7 months out of traditional employment.
Obviously, people won't know.
Oh no, if you didn't know, we moved from Norfolk down to Sussex, where we are from, and we left our 9-to-5 jobs, and we haven't. Well, I've now got a part-time job, and Hayley's looking for a job, but we haven't worked in traditional employment for 6-7 months.
7 now.
So we have had time. We have had so much time, and that is amazing. We've been able to do things. Well, I say we've been able to do things. We haven't had an income, so we haven't wanted to do crazy things. But the fact is, we've had time. We've had time to think about what we want to do. We've had time to work on side businesses, which is great. And not many people get that, and we really appreciate that we've had that. But at some point, that time, when you haven't got an income, doesn't really get used. I feel like the time doesn't get used most effectively when you don't have money to spend on doing things that you love in that time. And I know everything's not about money. I understand that. But there are certain things, like for me, travelling is something that that's one of my main goals in life, is to travel and see the world. And we've seen a lot of the world. But obviously that's been brought to a halt because of the situation currently. And the fact that we don't have any money. We don't have an income.
Well, we do have money. We just don't want to spend unnecessarily because we don't know how long out of employment we'll be.
Well, exactly. And now I've got a part-time job and the money's okay, but it's not, it's going to pay the bills and things, but it's not going to leave me with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds to spend on things like travelling. Not that we can anyway.
So you said you felt lost because of employment. What do you mean?
Yeah, I keep going off on tangent. I just love the sound of my own voice, clearly. Yeah, for me, I feel lost with career progression and passive incomes and having a desire to have something else going on that I can feel proud of, that I'm in charge of, that I'm not necessarily creating a brand for myself, but I do recognise the importance of that. If you do manage to create a brand of your name or your face in the world, then that lives on for quite a while and that will create a passive income for you. And maybe it's just me feeling like I haven't got that, and I think that's what's getting me down a little bit. So yeah.
Could you start your own brand?
Well, maybe this podcast will start a brand for me, who knows. But that's the thing as well, that I was thinking, right, if I was to start a brand that I run and I'm in charge of and I do this, whatever, I was then thinking, right, what could I do that about? And that's when I started thinking, like I said at the beginning, I don't feel like I'm interested in anything. I don't feel like I'm interested enough in any one topic that I could make a YouTube channel, make an Instagram page, or whatever that is, whatever that passive income idea would be. I don't think I'm interested in anything enough to be able to achieve that. And then you would sit there and tell me you are interested in things, and I'm thinking, no, I'm not. So we're having a little, not an argument, but we're going back and forth yesterday. Hayley saying, you are interested in things, you're not boring. And I'm saying, no, I'm not. I don't have anything interesting about me. I don't know what I like doing. Blah, blah, blah. Getting really down on myself.
I think once you're in that tunnel, it's easy just to not see any light. And that's what you were in yesterday.
But I've woken up this morning. I'm excited to film this podcast. That's given me something to look forward to. And hopefully I can get out of this hole I'm in. But I don't think it's a hole I'm in all the time. I think it just comes and goes.
I think with me, I'm such a deep thinker. Yeah. My mind does not stop. I am interested in absolutely anything. I'm interested in people beyond belief. I'm always analysing situations. I'm always thinking about what I could do better, what I want to do next. I'm one of these people that have an internal dialogue in their head with themselves. I can be left alone for days and I would be fine because I just just talk to myself.
And you do as well.
And I'm such an internal, deep person in that aspect. Anyway, where was I going with this? My star sign. What's my star sign? Aquarius, yeah. I don't know if that means anything to anybody. I don't know what that means. But anyway, where was I going with this? Yeah, I'm so internally a deep thinker that this feeling of lost is like a continual feeling.
You struggle a lot with this.
I struggle a lot with it because I guess I don't know why that is, because I have so many deep thoughts about the world and I should be doing more, and
I think you very much compare yourself to people and you shouldn't, because like I said before, we're on our own paths, but it's hard to tell somebody they shouldn't compare themselves because it's like something that's inside you, like you can't help it. And that's true to, I would say, most people in this day and age with social media. Most people are comparing themselves to other people. You could appear to have everything on social media.
I definitely
you'd still be comparing yourself to someone else.
I definitely feel better and refreshed when I haven't been on social media for a while. But anyway, I think this comparison thing is not so much... I think it's comparison and self-doubt. It's not so much like they have this, I want that. It's never a material thing for me, really. I don't see someone with a nice car and think, oh my God, I need to do their job because I want that car.
Yeah, you're not a materialistic sort of thinker.
I'm not materialistic at all. It's always that I don't know. I wouldn't say it's jealousy. I would say it's more envy that someone has done something well. And then I doubt that I could ever do that well. And then I get myself into a bit of a...
And I think we both struggle with this, but I think you in particular, often you say things like you wish you hadn't gone to uni, or you wish you'd done a different course that led you on a different path, and how it feels too late now to change that. Well, it is too late to change the fact you did your degree and what you did it in. But so many little decisions that you make in your early life, really, like young adulthood, affect even before you've turned into it, like even before you're 18 and you're an adult, if 18 is what you want to say is an adult. Doesn't feel like it. But you have to make decisions when you're 16, 15. That will affect so many things in your future. That's still affecting us now. I always wanted to be a teacher. I now am not a teacher because I don't want to be a teacher. And I did a whole teacher training course, and that was what my degree was. Where could I have been if I hadn't gone to uni? If I'd gone and worked my way up in a company, I might be manager of that company now. Like, you just don't know. I might have been really, really like sad with my life because I might not like the corporate world that I've landed myself in.
Or you could have ended up right back here.
Yeah, everything could have done a full circle. I could have been end up in the same place as I'm in now. Like, you just don't know. But it's hard not to hone in on those kind of things when you don't know what could have been.
Yeah, I'm always a what if person, and I'm indecisive, so I always get really hung up on them decisions. But I don't. You say I regret uni. I don't regret uni.
I don't mean regret as such. I just mean regret maybe the course you did because you don't want to be a biomedical scientist.
Yeah, I think for me it was I did feel a lot of pressure in my personal life and academically that I was getting good grades and so I should be going to university.
Yeah.
Whereas it was the people that weren't getting the good grades that didn't go to university. So it's like almost set up for you that if you do well at school, your next choice is what university you're going to go to, what you're going to study. And what you're going to study is going to be, well, what you picked at A-level, because that was what you did.
Exactly.
What you picked at A-level was your top performing GCSEs. It was all set up for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess the feeling of feeling lost comes in many different aspects, but I think for you it seems like it's a career-based feeling lost.
I'm quite happy personally, so I'm not worried about that.
But you did say you feel lost in terms of not having anything you enjoy. That's a sense of personal loss. I guess that's
personal. Yeah, that's personal. When I think of personal, I think of like relationships and stuff like that. So maybe in that aspect it's fine, but maybe personally in the aspect of not feeling like I have any real hobbies, I guess that's personal. And that's something I want to work on. I just can't think. I was even resorted to Googling yesterday, what hobbies can I take up in my 20s? And it's just things like drawing. No way. Not even a little bit interested in that. I can't even draw a stick man. And then there's painting. And then I think, wait, if I start painting, you've either got to go and pay for a class, which I can't really afford right now with a part-time job, or you've got to buy all the supplies and have the space in your house to be able to dedicate to an area where you can do that.
It's so funny because I literally find everything interesting. Like, almost so it's like too much, it's overwhelming. If someone told me, like, you're going to spend the next 4 weeks researching, I don't know, Albert Einstein, I would be well interested in that.
Well, you get into bed and research like a type of bird that you've heard about that day. That's how cool you are.
I'm so inquisitive. But what I'm trying to say is you're just a different type of person and you're not as inquisitive and you don't want to try as many new things, and that's okay. You need to take the pressure off yourself and just do what you want to do and not try and find this one thing that you're going to love, because as I said, in reality, yeah, a few people end up having a hobby when they're a child and going on to make money out of that hobby and still doing it when they're older. But the majority of people just dip their toes in many things.
Yeah, I understand that. And I think I would happily dip my toes in lots of things. But I'd always have that feeling that, why don't I love this? Why am I not really good at this? Why can't I love wholeheartedly something? Like, why am I doing something for a week and then thinking, oh, I'm bored now? That's just me all over. I love learning languages and I've never got bored of that. So I guess that could be something that I do, and I do a lot, but it's that thing with, if you're trying to learn a language, if you're someone who's quite impatient like me, if it's not coming to me quick enough, and if I can't have a conversation after a week, I'm going to get bored. And it doesn't mean I don't love learning languages, because I do. But if the result isn't happening quick enough, I have an issue with that.
Sounds like you need something with quick success.
Quick success, yeah. But I just, like I keep saying, I just wish I could find that one thing that I don't care if I succeed at, because I love doing it.
But I wouldn't say I found that one thing. I found many things, but I haven't found that one thing, and I will never, because I'm too interested in multiple things.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not that you want to find the one thing, you just want to try new things.
Yeah. Who knows, but that's just how we're feeling lost at the moment. Well, how I'm feeling lost anyway.
Yeah. How do we tell how long we've been talking for?
I've got no idea, but I feel like it's probably quite a while, so we'll probably try and start closing this off. What I did want to say was, if you're listening to this and you have a means of commenting, I don't know if you'll be listening to this audio only on Spotify, in which case you probably can't comment, but if you're watching this on YouTube with the video, hello, comment below what you think about this topic of feeling lost. Do you feel lost? How old are you? Do you feel lost and you're in your 50s? Are you 16 and you're feeling lost already? Like, what are you feeling lost about, if you're comfortable sharing it? It would just be nice to know that other people feel the same, because sometimes you can feel really alone in that thought process, because it's not something you necessarily share with your friends. There's friends I can think of, I don't have the first idea what their problems would be. You know, they, on the surface, they seem like they have everything, and I'm sure they don't. And I'm sure there's things that I have that they wish they had, and things like that. But I don't know that, and they're my friends. So I would really like to hear other people's stories, how other people feel about this. Do you have anything else you want people to comment? Because this is as much about helping others as it is about us. Like, we're talking about this because we're struggling with it.
I'm just viewing it as a therapy session, honestly.
I feel like I've had therapy.
I think comment below any other topics you want.
Oh yeah, and that. Any other topics? Like we said, this is the anything club, so we will talk about anything.
Literally anything.
Finance,
books,
personal topics like this.
cooking.
We'll do book reviews, anything, cooking, yeah,
Anything.
literally anything. So we can tell you about our travelling experiences, because we've had a lot of them together, some funny ones. So yeah, let us know below what you'd like to see. And this podcast, we're hoping, is going to be an array of different topics.
Yeah.
And if you're not interested in a finance episode that we do, you don't have to listen to it. Like, you can just pick and choose the episodes that you want to listen to and what you're going to find interesting. Yeah. So
proud of you, taking a lead on this one.
Oh, I know. Well into it. Look
Yeah,
at me.
you've been chatting away. I don't think I've said much.
Sorry. Do you actually think you haven't said much? That's not good.
I've been suffering with a chest infection. I've still got a bit of a bad throat, as you can probably hear. So to be honest, it's a really useful thing for me to just chip in here and there for this podcast episode.
Okay, maybe you take the lead in the next one, Hayley.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, well, that's it from us for this episode. Like we said, comment below the things we asked you to comment below.
And if you've got this far, thank you so much for listening.
Oh my god, thank you for listening. Even if you're watching this, that's one more view than I thought we would have. Yeah. So, good on you.
Cool. Well, I hope you have a good day, whatever you're doing, wherever you are, or a good sleep if this is just before bed. Thank you so much for watching.
We'll see them next week.
We'll see you next week in the next podcast. See you later.
Bye.